In this video, I'm going to be counting down the top 10 most bruise-inducing, bone-crushing, ball-smashing hits of the Vancouver Canucks 2023-2024 season. But first, I want to acknowledge that the masterminds behind the scenes have already signed a plethora of new players to the squad, and one of them is a 6'4", 217-pound left-handed defenseman who I'm sure will be making an appearance in next year's version of this list, FORBORT. This dude is a freight train on skates. Just look at some of these highlights. And while you become acquainted with his toughness, I'm gonna tell you a bit about the sponsor of today's video, highroller.com. If you couldn't already tell, I'm a huge hockey fan. Whether it's the thrill of a breakaway goal or the tension of a sudden death overtime, there's nothing quite like the high-risk, high-reward nature of hockey, and that's exactly what makes highroller.com such an exciting experience. highroller.com is a real online money casino with over 3,000 games available, including live dealers and popular table games like blackjack, roulette, and more. And they're offering an exclusive deal for today's first 100 new subscribers. They'll match the amount you deposit up to $2,000 Canadian. So, for example, if you put in $100, they'll put in $100, all the way up to a maximum of $2,000. But that's not all. They're also offering 200 free spins. Just click the link in the description of this video to get started. Signing up is quick and easy, and you can play from anywhere on any device. But remember, you must be of legal age to play, and of course, make sure you always play responsibly. Now, let's get into this top 10. On February 6, 2024, Carolina Hurricanes defender Jalen Chatfield was skating the puck up the ice, preparing to dump it in for a change when, without warning, he collided with what seemed to be a rogue brick wall that had somehow made its way onto the ice surface. However, after reviewing the play, it became clear that the brick wall was actually NIKITA ZADOROV, and to add insult to injury, ZADOROV found it pretty funny. During the first period of the first game of the season, Oilers defender Cody Ceci was blindsided by an unexpected source, Canucks superstar Elias Pettersson. Known more for his finesse than his physicality, Pettersson delivered a hit that left Ceci seeing stars, and he was never the same. Actually, he was fine, but still, PD dumped him. Also, the way this game ended kind of overshadowed this hit, and I don't want to let it be forgotten. This was an absolute crusher. On a stormy Saturday night in Vancouver, the Dallas Stars were in town looking to add a W to their win column against what many at the time thought was an inferior Canucks team. However, not only did the Stars fail to even score a goal during this game, but in the first period, Matt Duchene was brutally attacked by Canucks defender Ian Cole. I remember watching this happen live and thinking if it had been me in Duchene's skates, I probably would have called the police and had Cole arrested. Unfortunately for Duchene, his phone was back in the locker room and he was forced to call his teammate Mason Marchment to help him out, but Marchment was also attacked. Cole received high fives. In the third period of a losing effort against the Philadelphia Flyers, Noah Juulsen manhandled Joel Farabee. Despite the hit being cleaner than Juulsen's conscience, Farabee's 5'8" teammate thought it'd be smart to react, and actually, he did a decent job at hugging Juulsen into submission, but make no mistake, Noah had the last laugh. In the final month of the regular season, just a few weeks before the start of the playoffs, in Game 78, Golden Knights forward Keegan Colasar was clotheslined by Carson Soucy. Together, these two players weigh over 425 pounds, and rumor has it the impact of this collision could be felt across the Lower Mainland. Here's what earthquake specialist Edwin Neeson had to say when asked what could happen if these two players were to collide again sometime in the future.
When it happens, the ground shaking is going to be violent. The tsunami wave is going to be, is going to be huge. So we do need to think about how we can better prepare.
Scary stuff. As good as the Canucks were last season, there was one team they just couldn't seem to figure out, and that was the Los Angeles Kings. We don't have many positives to look back on during those games, but we do have this disgustingly gorgeous open ice hit to hold close to our hearts until next season. Noah Juulsen absolutely rocked Kings forward Alex Laferriere. It's honestly beautiful, and if it weren't for this close-up of Laferriere a few minutes after the hit, I would have assumed he left the rink in an Uber headed straight to the Roxy to drink away the pain, but no, he stayed out there, and kudos to him. Despite looking like he's 12 years old, he's tough as nails. Now, this one was therapeutic. After watching Predators defender Roman Josi roam around the ice like he owned the place for the first 3 games of the series, my frustration levels were high, and every time he touched the puck, I pooped my pants a little bit. That's when Nikita Don't Call Me Big Z Zadorov stood up and said, "Stop." And actually, if you put it in slow-mo and look closely, you can see how Josi no-sees Big Z and gets so creamed, and of course, like a cherry on top of a sundae, Nikita couldn't help but taunt an angry Predators bench. Woo! Okay, let's just get this out of the way. This hit was laid by Niels Big Hog Hoglander. and it was beautiful. The Kraken forward on the receiving end of this blow, Brandon Tanev, not only left the game with an injury, but ended up missing the following 3 games too. It's a shame it ended in an injury, but God, what a beautiful bonk it was. Look at his stick go flying. Okay, so we're back in the playoffs, except this one was in round 2 against a team that hasn't won a Stanley Cup in over 30 years, the Edmonton Oilers. This hit kind of flew under the radar somehow, but don't get it twisted, it was massive. Just 3 minutes into Game 2, Jonathan Tanner Miller, also known as JT Miller, destroyed Oilers' leading goal scorer Zach Hyman, and he did it so casually he made it look easy. Hyman landed with both legs in the air nearly 6 feet away from the initial impact. He went flying. Okay, so I'm sure some of you saw this one coming, but how could I not put it in the number 1 spot? Just 2 days after Miller sent Hyman to the moon shaped like a musical note, Nikita the Kitten Zadorov sent Oilers forward Evander Arbutus Club regular Kane into his own bench and onto the lap of Corey the Worm Perry. As gorgeous as this hit was, it pains me to say that this will likely be the last time I mention a Zadorov hit in a positive light because he's no longer a Vancouver Canuck. In fact, it's even worse than that. He's a Boston Bruin now. Actually, that reminds me, we should have a moment of appreciation for all the players on this list who are no longer with the team. Ian Cole, Nikita Zadorov. Yeah, that's all. Thanks to these wonderful nuckheads who chose to support the channel by clicking the join button. Also, shout out to Navy Rymar, Travis LaFleur, and Von Havoc for joining me on the Nuckhead podcast to talk Nuck with me. The link is in the description for those of you who want to listen. See you later. Bye.
You know, just kind of seeing the success that they had last year, and you know, it was an opportunity to join a team that has a chance to win, and that was kind of the first thing I was looking for. So definitely excited.